This is one of those videos where I really only have one thing to say. You wouldn't believe me if I told you, so I'm going to have to show you. Everything, and I mean everything and everyone, is angry at Justin Trudeau, and it's all falling apart. Literally, every group that you could think of, the LGBTQSLI plus communities, are not satisfied with the lack of progressiveness, believe it or not, that Justin Trudeau is adhering to here in Canada. Indigenous communities are not happy. Muslim communities are not happy. Christians aren't happy. Jews aren't happy. Nobody is happy with Justin Trudeau, and they don't know what to do. They are in complete panic mode, and that's what we're going to be taking a look at today, because this footage is incredible. And like I said, you wouldn't believe me if I told you, and so now I'm going to show you. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Before we get into it, I want to encourage you all to smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't yet already. It does really help grow the channel. Just a gentle reminder, this is indeed the extra channel, and I would super duper appreciate it if you guys showed this channel the same love that you do all the others. And without further ado, let's get into this, because this is wild. We're going to start off with MP Champagne here, which Brian Lilly calls Frankie Bubbles won't say if Trudeau is a liability or an asset during a CBC interview, which is very interesting because he's been so adamant in supporting Justin Trudeau, but it seems like that narrative is shifting very, very fast.
And
you know that Justin Trudeau has become a lightning rod for a lot of the dissatisfaction in this country. And is he a liability going into this election, or is he an asset?
I would say it's not. It's what you've seen in other countries, that when people are facing a lot of issues, there's frustration, and frustration is reflected oftentimes, you've seen in the recent election, on their leaders, and therefore there is that. But when you step back, that's why I say to people, in which society, leaving the personalities apart, in which society do you want to live in? What is dear to you? Okay. How would to whom would you give the key of the house? That's really what I say to folks. And when I'm in the street, people said, I'd rather give you the keys.
Liability or asset?
I would say I'm always focusing on making sure that we do what's right for Canadians, and they'll make the final choice. That's how democracy works.
You are not saying that the Prime Minister, that Justin Trudeau, is an asset going into the next election.
He's the leader. He's been providing leadership, and that's what Canadians want to see. It's not an issue about, I'm not going into these whether people would see it. They see in him the leader of the Liberal Party, and certainly has been an asset in providing steady leadership over more than, I would say close to a decade now. And people, when they look at, and have you seen what is on the offer on the menu, I would say most people that I know would be concerned about giving the keys to anyone else at a time where we're going to a very turbulent time. People want people with experience, expertise, and leadership. And in that sense, people know who he is and know who we are. It's a team sport.
Minister, thank you so much for the time, as always. We appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
What an absolute joke. Look, if I was ever interviewed and asked a question, hey, these people that you've worked with in the past, do you like them? Do you support them? It's a yes or no question. Like, it's so obvious that he's beating around the bush because he doesn't want to say the quiet part out loud. Other MPs have said it, and it's just inevitable. It's a ticking clock in terms of when he will actually come out and say these things. I mean, this isn't some alternative media. This wasn't a podcast interview from some YouTuber. This is mainstream media. This is CBC. Like, that is absolutely insane that, the CBC is subsidized by the Liberal Canadian government, and they're asking very, very, very straightforward questions, and they're not answered. So of course they're going to lean into that a little more, and it puts a smile on my face to see this narrative really shift more towards the truth. And hey, this Liberal government, something is wrong. They're covering something up. They're cowering. They think that they can just abuse their position, abuse 40 million Canadians and get away with it. And the tides are shifting, and I can't help but conceal, not conceal my smile, I suppose. And it does get better, ladies and gentlemen. So you're going to want to stick around for this full video because it gets a lot better. Next up, we have a Liberal MP who was a deer in the headlights when asked what Trudeau means when he says Canada has a feminist foreign policy.
Your leader and the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, talks about Canada having a feminist foreign policy. I'm wondering if you can explain to Canadians what that means, and how does that align with selling billions of dollars of arms and weapons to a nation like Saudi Arabia? And how is it that under your government, we have been the second largest arms supplier to the Middle East? So what is a feminist foreign policy, and how does that fit into it?
When it comes to foreign policy, I can take a pride, that the Liberals have had a balanced policy. It came to Saudi, when 2015 election we were going through. We had seen the crisis there, and which government that came up and helped those Syrian refugees to come here is Liberal government, right? And now comes to Afghanistan issue, and the government has shown
Can you please explain what a feminist foreign policy is? I'm not sure what that means.
20,000 Afghanistan.
I don't want numbers, I want an explanation. What is a feminist foreign policy? What does that mean?
But certainly when it comes to the foreign affairs policy, we got to be fair.
What does a feminist foreign policy mean? Your prime minister and your leader keeps talking about it. What does it mean? Because I can't figure it out when you're sending arms, billions of dollars worth of weapons to a country like Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, and it's just only going to get worse. And I love it. I love it because they have all these super weird, beyond progressive, and I would go out and even say beyond radical, extreme terminologies to describe these insane positions and policies, giving away money, creating jobs, but like these ultra high paying jobs with these ultra lucrative pensions for shit that doesn't even make any sense. And when confronted about it, it's just they just talk in circle, and beat around the bush, and it's very embarrassing, not just for us Canadians, but for, I guess on the global scale, when Justin Trudeau goes to NATO and NATO says, yeah, you owe us more money, and he's like, no, we're fighting climate change. NATO's like, I don't care. It's really truly the end of the Liberal Party. And I cannot believe that someone would go through their entire life to be an elected official, represent Canada as a member, an elected, a voted in member of parliament, and go down with the ship with Justin Trudeau because they're too afraid to speak up, because they are just stuck in their shelter of yes men and their progressive ideology. It doesn't make any sense. Like, you have liberals that don't even support this nonsense anymore. That's how bad it is. They have slashed their own support and fan base. There's no one left to vote for these people. So it doesn't make any sense, but I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments of that. And now we're taking a look at the cream of the crop. The cream of the crop. This one is absolutely insane. Indigenous communities are just badgering the Liberal government for leaving them hanging. Here we go.
Miigwech, Chief. So we'll go to microphone number 1, please.
You're disrespecting the historic treaties. There wouldn't be a Canada if it wasn't for our treaties. You talk about nation to nation. There's a troublesome resolution. I don't even know if you look at all the resolutions. Resolution 35 dealing with treaty. We want to talk about nation to nation, you come talk to me. You don't come talk to this AFN table or whatnot. You want respect, you got to treat us the same. At least say hi on the street when I pass you. And the Natural Resource Transfer Act. No, we shouldn't be struggling in our own lands. We should be the Saudis of Canada. Why are our people sleeping on the streets? If that's not right. Our people are suffering with addictions and everything. My community's being overlooked. And if the king, if you're listening, come. And if Trudeau, if you have balls enough, come to my territory. But I'm going to pass it
To back up what Chief...
Wow. If you have enough balls, come to my territory. That's how bad it is. Justin Trudeau long ago promised clean water, clean drinking water, infrastructure, right, to help these Indigenous communities. And he hasn't and doesn't do anything. They are false promises. He has pride on the hope of people, and it's quite predatory. I have friends, maybe you even have friends that live in small communities that have brown drinking water, like contaminated drinking water. They can't even wear white clothes and wash it because the water itself will stain their white clothing. It's absolutely insane. Here in Canada, we're not talking about some other country. Here in Canada, in like not far away from major towns, like it's absolutely insane what this government has done, or I guess in this case, hasn't done. All these false promises, and yeah, sure, no, let's keep giving money away to Ukraine. Like that's the phenomenal answer, right? Instead of focusing on our own stuff here, let's just keep giving away not millions, not hundreds of millions, billions of dollars, instead of putting that money into, increasing the bottom end of our country, so to speak, right? That's not to be disrespectful by any means, but if you don't have clean drinking water in Canada, what the hell are we doing? Right? That's not your fault. That's the government's fault. That's absolutely absurd that people in Canada are suffering like that. Man, it's not fair.
Co just said, and Chief Layman, I want to notify you, Mr. Minister, if you listen, quit being on your phone or talking and listen to us. That's what you're here for.
Holy smokes.
Why are you trying to do away with our treaties where you have no business trying to terminate our treaties with the Imperial Crown? It's time, and it's time, that you come and talk to the rights holders. 2016, your Prime Minister came to our nation. At that time, we invited him to come and meet with Treaties 1 to 11 rights holders. He has yet to come. Your ministers come for 2 hours and then they take off. And the same thing, looking on their phones while we're trying to address our issues with them. There's got to be respect. And the reason why our peoples are living in poverty, they're on the streets, they have addictions, they have all those mental health issues, is because what Canada has done to our peoples. You want to correct it? You need to talk to us. We are tired of you coming to this assembly where our consent is manipulated. So if you want true reconciliation, you want to have a better government-to-government relationship with us, come to Cold Lake and meet with our chiefs, who are the rights holders, not AFN. Thank you.
You refuse to listen to my community and my office, my elected office. You're ignoring my emails and my letters and my text messages to your own cell phone number. So I want to know why you're not listening to my voice and my community's voice, which I carry. And when are you going to meet with my community? I'm tired of being ignored. My community's tired of being ignored. When are you going to start listening to my community? You say you're here to listen to communities, but you're not. You're not listening to us. You're not listening to community. You're not listening to people.
Yeah. So there you go. Just more undeniable proof that Justin Trudeau is absolutely screwed. I mean, word spreads. These YouTube videos help spread the word, right? And it being in the media helps spread the word. But when it comes to Indigenous communities, I mean, there once was a time where there was a massive attraction, and not just Indigenous communities, but Canadians in general. Like Justin Trudeau got elected as Prime Minister, not by accident, but he had some pretty awesome promises, right? That's why he got elected. And he just hasn't delivered, except for the legalization of a little bit of puff. Right. That's cool. That's progressive, right? And that has added a lot of money to the country, to our GDP, that has not just decriminalized, but legalized something, right? Which should have never been an illegal substance for as long as it would, right? So good job on doing that. But everything else, he's really, really failing massively. I mean, the housing crisis, to say one of them, right? After 9 years, he's now going, trust us, just trust us, vote for us. We've been in power. We can fix it. We know how to do this. But they're the kind of the ones that are responsible for getting us in this mess. It seems a little bit, what's that word? Gaslighting to cause the problem and then offer to sell the solution by being in power for even longer, which also makes them very much richer. It's absolutely corrupt. And it's awesome to see not just the F Trudeau protests that happen, not even the Palestinian or Muslim community that stands up to Trudeau or the 2S LGBTQI plus communities, but also Indigenous communities are now standing up, as you just saw. And that's just one of many different instances. And I think it's only going to get more and more popular to really just bash on Justin Trudeau for his failures. And it's going to add a metric shit ton of pressure to the Liberal government to actually do something, not to fix what they've done, but to resign or to call an election, which is probably why you've already seen a significant amount of Liberal and NDP at the federal and provincial levels of MPs resign and step down and say that they're done. They're not going to run again, that this is the last term, or they've actually already resigned. So I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments. Is this good that Indigenous communities are this against Justin Trudeau now, or is this bad? Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. On your way out, I would like to encourage you guys one last time to smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you in the next one. Bye for now.